Well, hey there, pals. Welcome back to another episode of the Pullbox Pals, and I'm here with my best pal, Monk, and we have both read a lot this week, and we've got a great episode lined up today. So,
wow,
yeah,
that's one heck of an intro. I'm so excited.
just spitballing, man.
It
just rolls off the tongue. Yeah.
We did. I must confess, I feel like behind the scenes in text messages, I may have overhyped how many comics I've read this week.
Uh-huh.
Because I was compiling them all together to show you. But I feel like there was also a couple from the week prior that I probably don't have.
Oh yeah.
I also just want to say I can notice this since I'm listening to myself, but I got my teeth fixed up and I can noticeably hear my voice is different now. So interesting. So if anyone is wondering what happened to Monk, I'm also a little sick. So maybe that's what's going on. I don't know.
It could be a few things. It could be your fixed teeth. It could be you're a little bit sick.
Who knows?
It could be that you're a little bit sick.
Yeah. It could be
one of those three options.
But hey, listen, this isn't interesting. But what is interesting is what I'm about to ask you to do for me. Okay?
What do you got for me?
I want you to ask me how my week was.
How was your week?
It has been filled with the song Oogie Boogie song. It just is it's just in my head constantly. We were talking about this behind scenes. I actually feel like it was a lot funnier back then because I was just in full manic mode. I even made you listen to it. But this song has been in my head every minute of every day. I watched The Nightmare Before Christmas recently. I think I might have talked about that on the podcast.
Maybe.
But I've been watching it, it's just been if I need something on in the background, I've just been putting it on, Yeah. It's that time of year. It's just fun songs. But I always find myself needing to hear that song because it's just such a good song.
And it's just such a great movie. And I said backstage, but Danny Elfman's just a genius. He came up with the absolute perfect music for that movie. And it was just wonderful. I don't think I've watched it yet this season, but it's coming up.
I mean, technically I jumped the gun, it's not even Halloween yet, and I'm already out here. But I guess I was excited because Battle for the Pumpkin King was such a good comic. And it was and it has been interesting because I was going to say it was as in a singular time, because there's been multiple times that I've been watching it now where I'm kind of just I'm not one of those people that are oh, this ruined this because of this. If something that happened in the comic, it's, it doesn't change how I really feel about The Nightmare Before Christmas,
Yeah.
That's still a standalone thing to me. But man, it's just wild to watch the fight at the end. Again, we've talked about this before, but where he pulls them apart. I'm just oh yeah, that was a guy that you used to just frolic around with. But hey, I mean, he was about to kill your girl and Santa. You can't kill Santa. I mean,
I got to answer my door real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I guess I'll just talk about how you can't kill Santa. But I mean, The Nightmare Before Christmas, I the weird thing about it, I'm pretty sure Matt can still hear me as he walks away, is that
I can.
My dad was the one who introduced it to me. And my dad's not a gothic person at all, or a spooky person at all, or that kind of dad, if those kind of dads exist. But yeah, it was just, that was an interesting thing that my dad and I would do when I was a kid. We would watch The Nightmare Before Christmas around this time of year. I might have talked about that on the podcast before. But yeah, I would definitely, if you've never seen The Nightmare Before Christmas, it's a stop motion, um, it's a stop motion animated movie where it's just about Halloween Town. Yeah, and the main character Jack Skellington. Everybody knows this. I don't know who I'm explaining this for. I'm probably just
And
killing time until you
I was
bounce
gonna
back in.
say who I know there's people out there that exist that have never seen Nightmare Before Christmas, but
Mhm. I
like
think
why haven't like what's your excuse for not having seen it?
scared of some stuff. I can see it like being like there is a scene with just a tree walking up and just has a bunch of like skeletons hanging like from nooses. That's not like necessarily the most you wouldn't see that like a kids movie nowadays, you know. But I digress. It just is what it is. Um yeah. So, oh, you back?
I'm back. Yeah, my daughter is trying to figure out how to use Canva, and I'm trying to help her, but I told her I'm doing this, so I can't
Yeah.
help you right now. But you know,
Hey.
that's just how kids are. They want what they want, and I'm happy to oblige. So
Yep. It's like how, Dave Grohl talked about how like, his kids don't care that he's Dave Grohl of, like, Nirvana and Foo Fighter. They just want whatever they need in that moment, you know?
I might be going to see the Foo Fighters next summer.
Oh, n next summer? That's
Yeah,
wait, that's not that far away. Okay. I still
it's
think we're in summer for some reason. I don't know
it's really
why.
nice. Like, you know, these months, like once you like for me at least, once I hit my 30s, it's like a month lasts 5 minutes.
Yeah,
And
that's definitely what it
so
feels like.
it's coming up. But yeah, my brother told me about it and he's like, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, I want to go."
Yeah.
So I might
I
be
mean,
going.
I, yeah, I don't even think I've ever seen, like, any band that's I mean, I've been to the Warped Tour, and that's pretty much my I think we might have talked about this before in the show. I'm not a big concert guy, which is ironic, me being, like, a
Because
musician.
you play concerts. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't play concerts. I just play small venues, but I appreciate that.
You
Um,
play small venue concerts.
yeah. Um, I've always loved I think I was tainted because uh, all of my introductions to music was very local and small, and then I never really had that like ambition, which is a part of why my music isn't as good as it is to kind of go past just the local thing because I've always loved the idea of like music starts here, you know, like Blink
Yeah.
182, the Foo Fighters, Nirvana, like it's amazing that like these people blow up and then they like you know, they look back on Seattle and they're like, "Oh, what a grunge paradise." It's like there's other
Yeah.
places in the country that are like overflowing with talented music, but because it's not, you know, on the radio, nobody hears it. But we live in a
Location, location, location.
yeah, and like I've been very lucky to just sit and get to hear a lot of really good music that like not a
Yeah.
lot of people will hear, and you know, and that's a
That's
shame.
what I like. That's what I love about going down to Texas. And honestly, it's what I miss about living in Boise is there's tons of local bands that like played during the week and you could go down to Pengillies and see uh, a local like folk group playing or some rock group or whatever. And like but I'm gonna use this to lead into speaking of local things.
Oh,
Did you make it to your local comic book shop today?
I sure did, sir. And it's always good to go. I had definitely one of those days where it was like I don't know what I'm getting out of this journey. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I knew some things that we had lined up. Unfortunately, like most of the things that I wanted to grab, that my shop didn't have them today. So I was a
Oh,
bit bummed about that. That being the Blackout Bombshell #2, which came out today, which I know you
yeah,
grabbed, but
I did. I have it right here,
is
and
it #1 ready to go?
I've already sealed it up because it's already been read.
Oh, I guess that's true. I was gonna say, man, you got to that quick, but
Oh
we got a
man,
special little copy, and you read it
there's a
on the
little
podcast
there's
last
a
week.
little nick. I don't know if you can see it right. There's a little nick in the
Kinda.
comic. That's a bummer.
That is a bummer. Get Lewis to send you another one. That'll be totally fine. But
Yeah, but one of
uh
those special covers.
that's right. Yeah, his special covers. Well, the first one that I want to say that I got is Pink Elephant #2. Um I got #3 last week. I think I mentioned before that I missed this somehow when it came out. I'm so bummed because I really love this comic. I think I gave it a bang the other week.
Pink Elephant, is that what it was?
Yeah. So I have them all now, and I'm so excited. I think I was gonna try to bust them out before we started tonight, but I just couldn't squeeze it in. And I just want to sit with it. I don't want to just be like I rushed it, but I'm definitely gonna be talking about them next weekend. Next weekend. I'm definitely gonna be talking about
week.
Yeah.
Middle.
No, I'm gonna be talking about it every day because I just know that it's gonna be such a good comic. So very excited to get to that. The next one that I got, I believe you got as well. What's the furthest place from here? Number 15. Oh,
is it
sorry about
14 or
that.
15?
I believe it's 15. My cover says 15.
Oh, and then it's definitely 15. Jeez, I'm mixing up here. There we go. Yeah. 15. Right here.
Oh, that's a great one. I mean, did you see my cover?
Wait. Oh.
Yeah, we got different
I think I like yours more.
I think I like mine more.
Not to downgrade mine any. This one's really good.
That is really good. It looks like is it snow?
No, it's like waves. It's like
water. Oh, water. Okay, so it's water crashing in. Mine's a record player, and it has an eye in the middle. But yeah, super stoked on that. We've been reading that forever. Another one that I got is Rare Flavors number 2.
I got that.
Oh yes, sir, you did.
I can't wait to smell what this one's cooking up.
Yeah. So the second you started talking, I'm like, here comes a good old pun for this one. But Rare Flavors is we talked about it a couple weeks ago. We love Ram V, so definitely super stoked on that one. And then I think you may have gotten this one, Howie the Hellhound.
I did not.
Oh, it's always interesting to see the different Scout comics that we end up with. I'm pretty sure. Oh, go ahead.
Just like a lot of times with Scout too, just like I for some reason have been getting Scout comics like a week before they release. Same with like Image. And it's not with every single one. It's just like at random. I've been getting those like a week earlier. And then also Scout keeps pushing dates, as we know, and so sometimes I just don't really like see them when I'm looking through like the list because maybe they like moved like further ahead or something. So I miss out on a lot of Scout, but I also still get quite a bit of Scout.
Yeah, again, I just feel like we just get a different variety. That probably has something to do with the person behind the counter who's picking it. But I was just gonna say I love the art. That's definitely what made me jump on it. Yeah, and I feel like I've definitely seen this before. I guess I'll say who it is real quick. Trigio. It looks familiar. Color illustrated by Carlos Trigo. I'll have to look that up and see if that's anybody I know. But yeah, sorry we're kind of speed rushing through these. We have something lined up for you at a certain time, so we're trying to get to that. But I did get another Scout comic, and this is one of their non-stops. Where it's just they release one and then they'll release a trade paperback. This is Mare Hollow.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull this thing down and show it because I got a non-stop last week. Beautiful Soldiers. I don't know if I'm gonna pick up the trade for it or not when it comes out. It wasn't bad. I just don't know if I'm like wanting to give the time to like finish that out, but I did enjoy this issue 1, and I really do love the idea of these non-stops of just release the first issue and then release it again in a trade with the rest of the story. Like I think that's a smart way to go.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes a little bit more common. Or just like kind of just releasing trades, that's not really bad. You just have to make it like price worthy. And so it's again 4-issue trades marketed at $10. I'm all about that, man. That sounds like a wonderful Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, something. Yeah. But what else sounds like a good Sunday afternoon is Dark Spaces Dungeon. I think that's
okay. So I didn't know this was coming out, but our pals over at the Comic Book Lair, they had brought it up.
And do you know why I grabbed it? because I haven't really been on. I've been grabbing most of the Dark Spaces stuff, but the fact that this was Hayden Sherman, man, I just had to jump back in
So
because
is it Snyder and Sherman?
back at it.
Yeah, because
And
I got the Hollywood special #2 here in my reading pile.
it's in my reading pile as well. But yeah, I was literally just thinking the other day that I haven't seen Hayden Sherman's name on anything in a long time, and I'm so happy to,
Yeah, I
hope,
always love seeing a new comic come out that I didn't know was coming out and it has a name on it. Then I'm like, yes, I want that.
yeah.
And I recently, just speaking of Scott Snyder, I just came into my collection, but I'm probably going to sell them at the shop. I got After Death books 1, 2, and 3, which is Snyder and Jeff Lemire.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So I don't know much about it, but
I think I saw it. Did you have those in that video you posted the other day of some stuff you picked up?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and pretty much all of those are for sale down at the shop. So
There you go. Nice plug. If you want them, if you see them, or any of the comics that you see or hear about on this, if you reach out to me and you're interested in them, I might just send it to them because I'm just collecting comic books. I would talk. It's so interesting that I'm like, I buy too many comics. All that yada yada yada. And then the last two that I'm going to show off here are two comics that like I'm not reading really, and I want to, but I just know I'll probably never get around to is Monomyth and 7 Years in Darkness, which is a shame because they're both good, but there's just been so much like downtime and slag in them for me that it just doesn't seem worth it to kind of.
What issues are those?
Issue number 4 of 7 Years in Darkness and issue number 6 of Monomyth. So I would imagine a lot has happened in Monomyth and really nothing has happened in 7 Years in Darkness. I didn't finish the last issue. I got halfway through and I got bored because it's just but that's how comics go.
I picked up issue 1 of Monomyth, and I don't think I really enjoyed it that much. But I also think that there was a lot of hype around it. Like a lot of the pals picked it up, and so I think I got it later and I read it and I was just like, meh.
Are you thinking of 7 Years of Darkness or Monomyth?
Monomyth.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I don't remember you reading Monomyth. I enjoyed the first issue, but again, it was just a lot. And then trying to dive into the second one, it has to just be something that you need a shotgun, but I'm intimidated to shotgun it. Anyways, pal, what do you got?
Let's see what else. I brought this up to the top of pal when we were talking about Scout, but Hedrick's issue 4 of Quicksand came out. This will be another one that I go ahead and already sealed because I've already read that one.
Nice.
This one,
we're fortunate sons.
It's fortunate to have friends who write comics.
Yeah.
Really
cool.
I couldn't resist this cover. This is the only reason I picked this up. I'm not like collecting this series. This is a very well-known series. But every once in a while the covers just really draw me, and this one just it hooked me. But Amazing Spider-Man, I think 36.
Yeah.
That cover is just it's spooky.
He's like a gargoyle.
Yeah.
He's like a spider gargoyle on a headstone. Headstone. Over the
headstone.
Yeah.
Headstone.
Hedge your bets.
This one I'm pretty excited about. This was on my shelf. And I was just like, I can't not get this. It's from James Tynion IV. It's his rendition of Dracula.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had heard about this, but did I looked at like everything. Oh, I'm bummed I didn't see that.
Well, it might still be there next week.
Might be.
Then I got Penguin issue 3. Issue 2 is also sitting in my current reading pile right now as well. And the thing I'm probably the most excited about, this is one of my favorite series out right now, like honestly top 5 series out right now. Ribbon Queen issue number 4 came out today. Nice. With another stellar cover.
That is another stellar cover, man. And good old that's AWA, right?
That's AWA, and they,
AWA all the way.
Yep, that's what I say.
Yep,
AWA all the way.
All the time you're saying that.
but yeah, no, like I don't think I've ever gotten anything from AWA that I did not like thoroughly enjoy.
I agree.
And I don't pick up everything they put out, but every once in a while something just really grabs my eye, and that was one of the series, and I have not looked back on it. I'm very stoked on it.
Yeah, they do.
This will be halfway through the arc.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's 8. Oh man, what a heckin' beefy boy.
Well, sure is.
Do you want to set up this next thing we got going?
Yeah, so we got some pals returning to the show for a segment. They have a new story coming out in an anthology, and the anthology is called CyberSync, and they've written a little story in it called CYBER POOCH, and we got a chance to read it. I loved it, and here they are. We got Ben Collins and we got Eric
Allen.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Red, close.
Oh, what's up, guys?
Good to see you guys.
We are terrible at this, and having guests on is just something we shouldn't do. I mean,
this is also the first time we've brought guests on like mid-show.
What I mean is the name. I feel like every time I see you guys or see a person on the other side, I just panic and I screw up their names. But guys, it is like genuinely really nice to see you, because it feels like I'm just seeing like my pals, you know?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
I'm just
we tune in and hang out every week.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
We DM back and forth. It's great.
Yeah. Good
time. So you guys want to tell us a little bit about this whole CyberSync and your story Cyber Pooch?
Yeah. We had submitted to Apollo City Comics there, and Alex Batts had a submission for an anthology series, a cyberpunk anthology series called CyberSync. And Ben and I, wanted to take a hack at something outside of outer space, and seemed like the perfect avenue. And we are both huge dog lovers and animal lovers. And so we tried to find something a story that we could tell within like within the prompt that would communicate that.
Yeah. No,
so the prompt,
I love that aspect.
Just to squeeze in that little prompt is: through comics, CyberSync explores a future where neural implants allow telepathic communication and a shared sensory experience. And so you just kind of run with that. We were like, how can we put a dog in there?
Well, you did it, and honestly, like that's what carried me through, because it's pretty short. What was it, like 6 or 8 pages?
6.
6, yeah. I just loved like the relationship between what was the dog's name?
Murphy
and
Murphy,
Klein.
RoboCop's name.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. Just their connection. Like, I have my dog is the background on my phone, and just the idea of them being, I guess, cyber synced in a way.
Same.
Oh, that's funny. I don't have mine. I have my bass player's face on the back of my phone. That makes, wow. He is man's.
You got to keep your bass player happy.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Well, he plays guitar for me now. I promoted him. No any bass players out there. But I will say, just before we get too far away from the prompt, I love a good prompt. I used to live with a roommate that wrote, and I would dabble in writing with him, and so we would just like throw prompts at each other and like go away and try to figure out, what can we figure out, and then kind of there was more of sharing of ideas than there were of sharing of written things. But I do love a good prompt.
Yeah, that was what's attractive about like this anthology style. Like, it gives you just something to go on, and then it's really fun to see what the other creators come up with, because we have 16 creators, 25 stories.
Oh wow.
80 pages.
I think that's flipped. Is it 25 creators?
No.
Stories?
Well, unless they got the flyer wrong.
Oh,
that
is 16.
I got 80 interior pages, and it's packed with 16 stories from 25 creators.
So this we should probably tell them that's backwards.
Well, hey, I'm glad we can find it out together.
Yeah.
Something
either way,
happened.
a lot of creators, a lot of stories, 80 pages. And it's going to be a square bound, so like it's a big boy, nice, beautiful book.
Ooh.
2 different covers. One is like a really sweet wraparound, and
Yeah,
then we
it's
got
done by
another
Max
a
Roberts.
variant. Yeah, and then a Bob Little variant.
Yeah,
I am on
Which
the
is cool. You can see all those on like the.
Whoop.
Oh,
There
very
we go.
cool.
There you go.
And that
Look at that
launched
tech.
today, correct? The Kickstarter
Yesterday, actually, we thought.
Yeah.
yesterday.
We were under the impression, or like up until like
At
earlier
first,
this
when
week.
we first talked about it, yeah. But
I mean, it's already
we funded it day one. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
We did like live shows yesterday with Brandon of Apollo City Comics and Alex of Lesser Known Comics, and just kind of talked about this and just like random stuff, like our favorite horror movies, favorite sci-fi movies, favorite horror comics, and then they had other creators kind of sweep in and just talk about their stuff. So it was a fun day.
yeah,
Awesome.
That's awesome.
This stuff looks great.
yeah. They really went all out on this. Yeah,
Those wham stands are really cool.
I think I'm gonna have to get one of these and just keep it on my coffee table. This is gonna be a new. Yeah, heck yeah. This is so cool. I love this stuff. Thank you guys so much for
the page
bringing this
turned out
across
so
us.
good.
Yeah, and there's going to be a bunch of more perks and things like that coming. I know that they were talking about doing like stickers, patches, and pins. So that should be announced.
Yeah, and prints.
And prints, yeah. So there's
and like those other lesser known comics that are on there as like add-ons. Those are pretty cool. Like that Tank McGregor is really, really good.
Yeah, Tank McGregor.
I've only looked through the other ones. I haven't got a chance to read. Yeah, Bigfoot Knows Karate though. I have looked through that one. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I will say, if they're doing something and it has the word punk in it, it has to have pins.
Yes, it's a requirement. Pins and patches.
Pins and patches.
Well, that was the previous anthology, right? It was Apollo City Comics. They did a punk comics anthology.
Oh, there you go.
Outcome
they just added Cyberpunk.
Right, Eric?
Next is
Outcome the
next. Okay.
There's I think it's one of these add-ons too, or one of the add-ons. It's in the LKC contributor pack or the.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at.
There's like that bottom. That's like a.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that like brought us together with Brandon is like his like desire to combine music and comics. Like that was a really cool idea. I mean, like we see it every once in a while, but just not that often, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it when it's done well, though. I mean, again, not that often, and it's mostly done well. I can't really think of any bad examples. My favorite example being Rock and Roll Hell, and What's the Farthest Place from Here? You know, they have music.
Oh, okay. I haven't read it. Have you ever read the Blue and Green?
No.
And you talk about Rom V. That's like a jazz comic
by Rom V.
Wrote. Yeah.
All right. Well, guess what I'm ordering right now, probably.
That's what I'm looking up at the moment.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, we're gonna get into some comics that we started writing, but thank you guys so much for coming out. We're looking forward to more stuff from outer space. Anything else you want to shout out while you're here?
Jackie Venturini did the art to CYBER POOCH, so she's a re-collaboration from outer space.
Our outer space artist.
And then
she's just gotten better, so.
Right.
Yeah. No, the art was great in it. She did an excellent job, and I'm really glad she got paired up with you guys.
Yeah.
Us too.
Yeah. And I would just say follow the Kickstarter, donate. They're going to be doing lives on Instagram throughout this month for the Kickstarter itself. So check out Apollo City Comics. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Apollo City Comics, and then you guys got B Comics and
Outer Space
Comics. You got your own handles. But yeah,
and I feel like any one of those things will lead you to the other. So
yeah,
that's right.
Basically.
Yeah. So go and check these guys out. Give them your support and your love. We love these guys. We love having them on. And we look forward to having you guys on again.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you guys.
It's great seeing you.
Yeah, you too, guys.
Get home safe.
Cheers.
Oh boy. There we go. Wow. Now it's just back to the two of us.
It's just the two of us.
It's
What
like,
what are we going to talk about now?
I don't know, probably comic books if I had to wager. I also wanted to tell this story up top, and I forgot about it, but I just remembered it. Before we went live, we are trying to start this new thing where you and I take a nice deep breath together to get in harmony. We didn't do that prior to this, and so you said when we were going to the intro music to take a deep breath. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. So I kind of like, postured myself in my chair and I went to take a deep breath. And the second I started inhaling, I realized I forgot my vape in the other room. So I frantically just ran from here to where it was charging. But don't worry, I got it. That was more important.
So you took a bunch of fast-paced breaths.
Yeah, it was and then I got back here and was wondering why I'm so out of breath. But
yeah,
anyways, I just thought that was a silly story. But Pal, you got into so many comics.
I did. My stack just kept getting bigger, and I was like, man, I hate how thick this stack is looking, and I kind of went to town this week. I haven't caught up on everything, but let me see. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 4. I read 15 comics this week.
That's a lot of comics this week.
Yeah. I was basically doing about 2 a day. Really, I
was doing 2 a days.
I was doing 2 a days. Yeah.
It's funny.
No, I've just been pretty intentional about like I need to get these read.
I read a third of that. So here's what we'll do then. If you do well, so see, the 3 that we read together, right?
Yeah.
So see if you can pace those out because I read a third of yours. So see if you can do 5 and then cap it off with one of the ones that we had in common. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it that way. Perfect.
Let's do it that way. Oh man, my list. Okay, I do want to talk about this one. So if you ever picked up Granite State Punk Breaking Edge came out last week. I really love the character development in this. I mean, this is only the second one, and it's another one shot with the same characters. And so, like in the first one, I'm totally blanking on the name right now of the main character.
I'm gonna say Jock. Jock. That definitely wouldn't be his
yeah,
name.
sure. We'll call him Jock.
We'll call this skate punk Jock.
Yeah, he's like an old like punk rocker, just got out of jail, and kind of finds out all this stuff about his past from his parents and his uncle being connected to a bunch of like witchcraft in New Hampshire, and essentially he finds out he's a wizard. And so in this one, he kind of comes to like the truth of it is that like he doesn't know how to control his powers and they just kind of like happen. And so he seeks out his uncle for advice. His uncle's like this goth guy who shows up to punk shows and just becomes a wallflower. But he's like, he knows like spells or like incantations or whatnot. But he's not like it, like doesn't have any like magical essence to himself, I don't think. And he's like, oh, well, we need to go dig up like our ancestor who was killed in like the witch trials back in 1659 or whatever, and see if we can get her spirit to help us out. And from that point, when they like awaken the spirit, it just becomes like a fun time. The art is really, really good. The lettering is like impeccable. With there's like a concert happening in the beginning of it, and like the band singing, and just the way that the lettering is flowing across the pages as like you're supposed to be listening to a song being sung. It was just I really enjoyed this comic. So that's by Travis Gibbs.
Travis Gibbs.
Yeah. And you can find him at Jester Lou on Instagram, and yeah, he's putting out good stuff, and we've been chatting with that guy a little bit, so we'll see what's coming down the road. So you want me to do another one?
Yep, I want you to do 3 more, and then we'll do Beneath the Trees. How's that sound?
Let's do that. Another one that I read this week that really like the cover for starters. Hexagon Bridge issue 2 came out.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And you know how we've talked about in the past how we love when the cover has something to do with the story inside.
Don't tell me that has something to do with the story inside.
Well, this like panel here on the cover, it's actually a dream that the main character had. So you don't actually see any more of this, but it's like referenced. And I really enjoyed that about it. And the story is just like, it's not very fast paced. It's one you really want to like soak in and try and catch all the details. I would say like issue 1 wasn't necessarily something that gripped me, but I do enjoy when an issue 1 doesn't grip me, but the issue 2 does, and this one got me on it. So I'm looking forward to the rest of that one coming out.
I mean, it might the fact that beautiful piece of art tied into like the story makes it might have me going on to it.
And the art inside is beautiful. Like it's like looking at a painting.
Gosh. One more time on the name on that one?
That is Hexagon Bridge.
Okay, even that's a great name. Okay, I might have to jump onto us. What else you got lined up for us?
Ooh, let's see. What should I talk? Another one I read was Hunt for Skinwalker #2. Another slower paced story. It reminds me a lot of Blue Book.
Yeah, that's what issue #1. That's what. Yeah, it just felt like Blue Book in like everything, except it wasn't as blue.
Yeah, but I'm honestly enjoying it more than I did Blue Book overall. The first few issues of Blue Book were great, but it just didn't pan out super well for me. Hunt for Skinwalker is just like I said, it's pretty slow paced. There's a lot of like narration to read, but it's not like a distracting amount.
Yeah,
it's just like basically the narrator's kind of telling the story, and then it goes into like this farm family who essentially has what appears to be UFOs and aliens showing up and destroying their cattle.
That's really good.
Yeah. So they're figuring that out, and like the main guy, the dad, like he's like really attached to what he does. Like he loves every single creature that he takes care of, and so like losing them's just really hard on him. And it's, a lot of people can relate to that, especially people who have been pet owners and have had a dog or a cat that they've really loved, like,
and they got abducted by aliens.
Yeah, but this guy has a bunch of cows and he has dogs too, and he's like losing them all while in search for what is the reasoning behind this. So I've been enjoying that one as well. But since that was the third one, something I really enjoyed, and I bought this digitally because I was really upset that I didn't pick it up last week, was Beneath the Trees Where No One Sees. Is that what
Beneath the Trees Where No One Sees? I have it here in front of me. I think you had one more before. How many comics did you list off? The Granite State Punk.
So I did Granite State Punk, I did Hexagon Bridge, and Hunt for Skinwalker. So I guess I should have done one more.
Yeah, go ahead and do one more, and I'll pull it up.
All right, Christopher Chaos #4. I think that's right up here behind me. This is just so this is also by Tinian. This is a great story for the season that we're in, and I love that issue 4 came out I think a couple weeks ago, and issue 5's I think coming out next week or the week after. But it's just like the perfect time for this story because it's basically about a bunch of kids who found out that they are actually like monsters. Like there was a werewolf kid, there's a vampire kid, there's kind of like a Frankenstein mad scientist kid, there's another one who like can speak to like the spirit world, and at the same time there's like this clergy of these people who are all dressed in white who are monster killers like hunting them. And in this one it's so Chris Chaos is the blue-haired like Frankenstein genius, like mad scientist kid, and the group of white people, this clergy, whatever they are, find out about this blue-haired kid.
White people, as in like you wouldn't like Caucasians?
No, like No. Like they're
They're all
dressed
dressed in white.
They're fully dressed in white. They kind of find out, oh, there's a blue-haired kid, like, and it's become a point of like, oh, this is like serious as to like why he has blue hair, and I can't wait to find out. So
Interesting. I'm trying to think of, there was a television show that I watched where somebody had green hair. I think it might be Danny Phantom. Did Danny Phantom have green hair? Write in, everybody. If you're listening and you know if Danny Phantom had green hair, let us know in the comments.
I know green is a part of like at least the logo. I'm trying to Danny Phantom came out like kind of when I was on my way out of like cartoons for kids.
Same. It was I mean, you're a little bit older than me, so it definitely would have been gone. I was kind of at that age. I could have gone into it, but it wasn't there for me. But what was there for me is your 5th comic that you're reviewing, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
And you got a variant cover.
I sure did.
Which is wonderful. Man, I did not know what to expect because I hadn't read anything about it. I just like, you got it. Kyle got it. I saw it on the shelf at my shop and I like looked at it for a little bit and like, I don't know why I decided not to grab it. But when I started going through the pages, I was like, man, this is like, the art is like looking at a children's book, but like a little bit more like vamped up. And it just seems like, oh, we have a jolly story that's happening here. This is going to be a fun, cute little story. And it's really not a fun, cute little story. And I listened to the Lair, and they chatted about it, and I like that they related it to the show Dexter. It fits perfectly to that. Because the main character, she runs like a hardware and tools shop in her cute little town outside of the city where everybody's friendly. And if you find your place in that town, you're going to do great. But she likes to take little trips to the city and get all Dextery.
Because sometimes she needs to feel in control. And maybe we shouldn't spoil. Like, I mean, we kind of maybe sort of did. But I feel like the ultimate appeal of this comic is knowing that, and I knew that going into the comic because I bought it because I heard them talking about it on the Comic Book Lair, and so I was like, this sounds so cool to me, and so it was kind of already spoiled for me going into it. But I can't imagine that would have been a lot of fun to find that out, because the inside does look like. Do you remember when you were a kid and your parents would buy you like storybooks and they would have that like silver goldish like cover, like the thing on the side,
the gold bound books,
the gold bound book, whatever those are. I wasn't old enough to like know what they are, but they're just in my brain. This just feels like one of those. And so hats off to like the artist, who we should give a shout out to because they do such a good job on this, the whole team. Written and illustrated. Okay.
I was gonna say, I believe the writer is also the illustrator.
Patrick Horvath, and lettered by Hussein Atzman Alu. So great team. Please do more stuff.
And if you got Atzman lettering your comics, you're in a great spot.
You got no problem. I say that to everybody I know. I'm like, hey, if you got Atzman doing your comics, you don't got to worry about nothing. You can don't pay your taxes.
He's gonna get those letters down to the T.
Man. Well, I don't really have anything else I want to say about that comic other than it's good. So
I like enjoyed it. It actually, I might say it's probably my banger of the week.
Oh God, I wasn't ready at all.
I know you weren't. But
it's okay. I'm here. We're ready to go for your
banger of the week.
There we go. Wow.
Because it was just like a kind of like shocking just how like everything turned out towards the end of it, and just there was so much like ominousness to the ending where you're just like, this is gonna play out really well. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Is it 5 issues. Is that way?
I couldn't tell you, but whatever it is, I'll read it. I feel like it's probably going to be shorter because of like just how good the art is. So I would imagine it's probably 5.
Yeah. The other thing that's surprising to me too, and they talked about it a little bit on the lair, but like this is from IDW, and it doesn't seem like an IDW book to me. And but this also kind of tells me like IDW is kind of branching out a little bit from like their norm, because they're the guys that put out like they do Sonic, right? Like they do some stuff with like Ninja Turtles, and they do, I don't know, stuff that you would have like watched the cartoon of as a kid. Like that's what they do a lot of, or played the video game of. And I have some IDW stuff. They had Star Wars for a while. Star Wars went over to at least the Star Wars Adventures, but that went over to Dark Horse, which I think that's where it should be. But yeah, they were putting those out for a while, and I enjoyed it when they put them out. So I'm guessing you want me to get into another one, or do you want to mention one of the other 2 that you read that we're not going to be talking about?
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a smart one. Break it up a little bit. Speaking of IDW, I read the Sonic the Hedgehog one-shot, the Halloween special. Ooh. And man, I say this every time I talk about Sonic. I just love him and his little friends. They're just so simple, and they do simple, fun things. And like, it's just a nice, like, it's just a breath of fresh air. Like it is just we've talked about it before, of just feeling like a Saturday morning cartoon, of just sitting here and just being like, hey, there's a monster in the forest that's stealing kids' candy, and we're going to figure out what that is. And that's the story, you know? And so they just spend this whole issue, and I don't know a lot of the team, because Sonic has like a lot of like supporting characters. And just from a lot of, I mean, Sonic's been around for forever. Yeah, but it's just really cool. I just want more of it. I'm kind of sad that I'm not on the main run. I know, again, I say that all the time too. It's really far in. I guess I could get caught up. But yeah, I love when Sonic stuff comes across it and across my like pool radar. And so I'm kind of bummed that, maybe it won't be. I'm sure I'll get a like nice like Christmas special or something like that. But I should probably just dive in on the series, because I really do enjoy it. I know Ross reads it, but yeah, that was a good one.
Well, you might be in luck. I think Sonic is on Comixology.
Yeah, I think I know that. Yeah, it's just more of like the time commitment and trying to. But Comixology and Sonic, you can probably like just swipe through. I feel like I have tried to start it before, but
yeah,
I'll let you know what happens.
Oh, and that's another thing too. Just like when you read things digitally, I feel like they go by faster, especially if you do like the guided view, because you're just taking in each panel for like what it is. And I don't know, at least for me, like I feel like I fly through digital comics a lot faster than I do a physical copy. But I do prefer the slow steadiness of having the physical copy and being able to like turn the page back instead of having to do this to go back to something that you like, oh, is this a connection to like this panel back here? So
yeah. What else do you get into?
Oh man. Oh boy. What else do I get into? I should be crossing. Oh, you're doing it for me. Thank you. I
am.
Let's see.
How about you talk about the madness? I'm just gonna pull them up for you.
Yeah. So the madness, by far, the Madness issue 3 is my favorite issue so far. I really didn't talk about that one yet? I thought I did.
I think you showed it to last. I can't remember. But
oh yeah, it's sitting right over here over my shoulder. There it is. It had the cool cover. Yeah, I love this like mad vengeance quest that the main character is on. Yeah, so like kind of the background is in issue 1, she was going to retire from her career as essentially like a Robin Hood type character, and was going to retire and settle down with her, I guess, soon to be husband and his 2 kids. And then all of a sudden, like the big Justice League team in this universe drops an A-bomb on her little cabin in the woods.
Oh, jeez.
And it like, yeah, and it eviscerated her little family.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that is
And
madness.
so in this issue though, it's kind of like she tracks down like the Batman type character. He is like induced with some sort of superpower that, like, you know, Batman doesn't have superpowers, but it's like his superpower is essentially being what Batman does. And it's so good. She traps him in his lair, and just like tortures answers out of him, all while the rest of like this pseudo Justice League is like watching, because she's like, I want you guys to see what I do to him, so you know it's coming for you. Like it's just so good. I love the madness. Another AWA banger. So
that sounds very good.
And I think that one's 6 issues. So halfway through that, 6 issues.
Nice. How about the Cole is next on the list?
The Cole, did you get issue 3?
I did, but I didn't read it. It was on my to read piles. So don't spoil it for me, because I am curious to see what happens.
Yeah. I won't spoil it. This one, it really it really takes off in this one, I think, with like kind of going back to the first scenes of issue 1, where there's the monster on the beach and there's like a shoe with no person attached to it, and like it goes back to like there's danger coming to the real world. But like in this one, they kind of figure out more about the world that they're in, and it's you know, they're trying to hightail it out of there. But it was it was a fun and exciting issue, and looking forward to the rest of those as well.
I'll just say I'm not surprised at all, because if I was in the exact same situation that they were in, they're so brave for even walking in there. You know, because I think the art is so real, you definitely are like, oh my goodness, why would you guys walk into like this foreign abyss world? You know?
Yeah.
But curiosity often finds the cat person, right? That's how that statement goes.
Let's see what I got. Tenement number 5. That one just continues to deliver. Still just continuing my of titling it the best of the Bone Orchard mythos.
See, I always forget that that's a part of that for some reason.
Yeah, and it's starting to kind of show how I might need to read back on this issue again and maybe get Ross's opinion as well, because I think Ross is reading it.
If it's a comic book, he's reading it.
Yeah, he reads them all. Whatever issue comes out each week, he gets all of them.
I was thinking about that on the drive to work the other day, about like how it's impossible to read every comic.
Yeah,
but it's impossible to listen to every song. Probably
it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, it seems like in this issue it was kind of alluding to some of the other stories of Bone Orchard mythos, which is starting to bring it all together. I don't know how long they're planning Bone Orchard mythos stories to go, but it does seem like it's something that could go on forever. But that was kind of my problem with like 10,000 Black Feathers and whatever came out. Like there was a graphic novel that came out first. I can't remember what it was called, but they didn't really spin off of the Free Comic Book Day like release very well, and they just didn't seem like super connected. They seemed like their own thing. But Tenement's really just kind of bringing it around.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad you're enjoying it, because I know like that you wanted to be like super into all the Bone Mythos Orchard. I know you wanted to be into the Bourne identity, but when they replaced Matt Damon with Jeremy Renner, you dipped out, didn't you?
I did. I was like, nope, not for me.
But I know that one comic that is for you. I've sound like I'm setting up one of the ones that we're both going to talk about, but it's not that. It's In Hell We Fight #4. Are you still liking that?
I am. It's just fun. It's really rompy. Like just the chemistry between the different characters, how they kind of all like they're friends, but they're kind of been like they're more like they're kind of like friendly foes. Like they like each other, but they don't like each other, and some of them really don't like others. And yeah, and so in this issue, we kind of get the story of the angel a little bit more that they came about in the at the end of the first issue. She kind of narrates how she got to where she's at, and then one of the main characters, her dad is essentially Satan, or he's like a major demon in hell.
He's up on that high on that pyramid.
Yeah, and he's the one who like paid for the kidnapping of the angel in the first place. And so right at the end of this issue, the dad shows up where they're all at. And so it makes issue 5. I tried to fit issue 5 in this morning, but I just couldn't find the time to do it. So I may talk about that one next week.
That works for me. Again, you read 15 comics. Well, I guess this is 2 weeks worth of comics we're talking about.
I did, and I'm just like speedballing these things, man.
I know. Hey, it's totally fine. We don't have to talk all about these. We can bring them back another time. But actually, why don't we dive into big game number 4?
Big game number 4. I feel like I've been talking a lot about comics. Why don't you tell me about big game number 4?
So big game number 4, I feel like just continues the momentum of everything ahead of it. This has just kind of been like nonstop action the whole time. And I think that's what a crossover should be. Like you bring in all these people together. Why not make it like wham, bam, pow? And I think that this might even, because I read some of Marvel's like crossovers in recent years, and there's just a lot of talking about the issue. Whereas this just seems to be like all chaos, and they'll pop in occasionally to be like, here are the characters who are like trying to figure out what's happening in this world, And it's interesting because again, I haven't read all of Mark Millar's stuff, so I don't know. In this, in the last issue number 3, Hit Girl gets sent back in 65 million years. And she's with the dinosaurs, but there's also like this hidden civilization that's completely forgotten about. And I forget the name of like the guy who oversees the whole thing. But he is like definitely worshipped as like a god, or maybe even is, because he doesn't look human. He's red. He kind of looks like a Doomsday Thanos kind of looking guy, but I couldn't tell you if he well, I'm trying to find his name, but I can't. King Morax. So I don't know if King Morax is somebody that's already existed in like the lore of Mark Millar's world. So that's kind
Miller
of
world.
like, yeah. I
know. Well, and that's a thing for me too with big game. Like I do know some of these characters and can resonate with them, but I don't know all of the characters. I haven't read I also haven't read everything Mark Millar's put out, because honestly, a lot of like Mark Millar's very hit or miss for me. I've enjoyed a lot of his stuff. I enjoyed Kick-Ass. I enjoyed Jupiter's Legacy when it first came out, the first 5 issues, but everything since then's been really flat to me. There's something I really like Nightclub. I'm trying to think of. Oh, I didn't like Ambassadors.
You didn't like Ambassadors?
Not enough to keep going with it. I got issue 1,
that's
but
right. See, I enjoyed it through the whole thing. I think I'll say in spite of itself, but I enjoyed it through the whole thing.
Yeah, but I might try and get the trade for Ambassadors at some point, just because I don't know. I like to change my mind on things.
That's nothing wrong with that. Well, hey, you got some more comics. I'm not gonna hold you back.
Yeah, well, there's only 3 more here that I got. Yeah, well, besides the last one we want to talk about.
So you did 14 then, but who's counting besides us? Apparently.
Yeah. Who knows?
But yeah, you got into some stuff from Marvel.
Yeah, I got in a few Marvel reads this week. So since spooky season, they released a one shot of Werewolf by Night, and then another one called Crypt of Shadows, and then also they have a 4-issue miniseries for Spine Tingling Spider-Man, and I enjoyed them all. Like, they were just super fun. Like, the Werewolf by Night story was great. I wish it were continuing. Maybe it is, but I read it as if it was a one shot, because at the end of it was like, see Werewolf by Night next in Crypt of Shadows, and so he was then in Crypt of Shadows, and Crypt of Shadows was actually like a bunch of short stories being told by the narrator, which is Victor Strange, Doctor Strange's brother.
Okay, nice.
And
they did a Crypt of Shadows last year that I believe was like the same, not the narration thing, but that I don't know if it was the same thing in that regards.
Well,
did
I guess I mean, like, he's more of like the crypt keeper. Like, he's taking on that role where he's setting up like the stories as they're coming, but at the end of it, it actually becomes like his story, and he's been trapped in a mirror. He's like in a mirror world. And at the end of it, he breaks out.
Well, that's good.
So it was pretty exciting. And then Spine Tingling Spider-Man issue 1 was really fun. Basically, he wakes up one day and it's kind of like No Way Home, where just nobody knows him, but he woke up to like cops pointing guns at him, and like he's in his apartment, at least he thinks he is, but it turns out like the landlord has no idea who he is. So he calls Aunt May, and Aunt May's like, quit calling me Aunt May, I know you're just trying to market to me some stuff. And then he's like, oh no, well, the only other person I can trust is MJ. He goes to MJ, and like people start hassling him for like harassing her. And I don't know, it was really fun. I'm probably going to continue and get all 4 issues of that.
Nice.
But yeah, I just had a Marvel read day, and it was a good time.
Sounds like a mostly spooky time.
Yeah, I read kind of like the Halloween special things. Nice. But yeah, the last thing we got up is
good old Local Man.
Local Man number 6,
which just doesn't stop.
It does not stop. It just continues to blow my mind.
It continues to just be as good and as entertaining as like the first time I read it.
Yeah. And this one was just super fun because like you kind of assume after the first arc and like the special, like he's going to kind of settle into his hometown life. But nope, there's always somebody who's got an itch to scratch. Yep. And man, like that whole opening scene in the diner was just thrilling. Like,
yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And it was just this guy who's just out to get Crossjack because he thinks that there's a big conspiracy behind everything that happened with him and the Cape Crusader in the first arc. And it's interesting because I wonder if there's gonna, like, down the line, if some sort of it'll be revealed that guy was right to some degree, you know?
Yeah.
Because the writing on this is just really good and really clever, and so I wouldn't be surprised if something fun like that kind of popped up. Or even the fact that the cop comes in and just blows him right away, and so I wonder. There's a part of me that's like, I don't trust that the cop just came in and started shooting.
Yeah. No, I kind of had similar feelings about that. With like a cop wouldn't just come in and just. I mean, the guy had a gun drawn and he was firing it off, but like Crossjack or Local Man had it handled already, and the cop just showed up and blew him away. It does leave room for more story to be told. But like, if you're not reading Local Man, just do yourself a favor and go pay, like volume 1, I believe releases in trade this month.
Okay.
It may already be out actually. But like if you're a 90s kid like we are, and you fell into like the early Image days with Spawn and Youngblood and Pit and all those like early Image releases, this is just a story that kind of fits into all of that and references a lot of those early characters in the Image lineup, and it's just so fun, and exciting, and I just want people to be reading it because it's still in contention for my #1 series this year.
Man, we got to start thinking about that.
We do.
Yeah, it's a lot to weigh out. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I guess the last comic that I just want to shout out real quick is Crusader #2. He meets another human in this, and it's interesting because they try to deal. This Crusader was just kind of shot through space and time. He's in this weird world that I think he thinks he's still on Earth, but then like the people that are with him are kind of like aware that he's not, and I don't know why he doesn't know. And there definitely seems to be some sort of like mystical rather element to the Crusader himself. He refuses to take off his helmet, this weird stuff, kind of very strong and powerful. So it's just a good comic. I'm excited to see where it all goes. But I know you do have places to be. Sorry for everyone who's listening if this felt a little rushed or anything like that. But yeah, we just had a lot going on this week, and Mark read all the comics in the world.
All of them.
You were up there on the Ross and Andy
and
level.
They're all perfectly ingrained in my mind.
That was really impressive. I was thinking about that. Like, that's why I felt like I had to do such a good job talking about Big Game and Local Man, even though I probably didn't, because I'm just like, Mark is just listing all of these off with like great, great recall. So yeah,
I gave it my best go.
You did a fantastic job, buddy. And let's ride this tuckered out horse into town and see what it's got to say.
This horse is real tired. He needs some water.
I was gonna say, I would imagine so. So where can people find us at?
Well, you can find us for the most part on Instagram at pullboxpals. You can find me at mad_nerdy, and you can find Monk at that Monk Guy 89. You can find us also on most social media platforms as the Pullbox Pals as well. Really, if you just go to our Instagram and click on the link tree in the profile, you'll find us everywhere that we're at. And if you're watching, listening, whatever it is that you're doing, please like and subscribe and leave some comments and tell your friends about it. We just enjoy talking comics and talking comics with people that aren't just us.
Yeah, I agree. It's so cool to have the community, to have people pop in, and yeah, just to be able to do all this fun stuff. But
yeah,
I mean, Mark, I kind of feel like you should do the outro just because you read so many dang comics. Do you want to do the honor of?
I can do this, but first I'm going to thank Ben and Eric for coming on. Be sure to check out their the new anthology that's coming out, CyberSync, with their story Cyber Pooch. Cyber Pooch was fun. It was touching. It was great. And as we always say, I haven't read comics like these in years.
I'm the Oogie Boogie Man.
Whoa.